Okay, so after days of doing video after video of my top 10 favorite Marvel superheroes, we come now to number 1, which, if you guys have been here as long as you have, you probably can guess my number 1 is no doubt the Hulk. Like I've said multiple times, the top 10 list is going to consistently change, at least in 9 slots, but the way I see it is that there's no way the Hulk is ever not going to be... There's no way the Hulk is ever going to leave the number 1 spot in terms of my top 10 list, in terms of the Marvel side. So, yeah. There's multiple reasons why I like the Hulk. Some, you could say, are superficial, and others are a little more personal. But really, there's a lot of good reasons for it. So, let's talk about it. Now, first and foremost, one of the reasons I really enjoy the Hulk is that he really embodies what I love about science fiction and just the kind of duality. There's it wasn't until a friend of mine, Pop Culture Diva 42, we were having a conversation. She said, "You really," she brought this up to my attention, that you really love the whole characters who can really transform and dissociate themselves, like have that Jekyll and Hyde kind of personality. And that's true. I've always enjoyed like werewolves and, transformations, because I've always liked that idea of Jekyll and Hyde, of having that other person, that kind of guiltless form, all of that your inner id, so to speak, and just unleashing it. Like, we've all have been in those positions where we wish we could just rage out and just pummel a guy, or, just tear through something that's bothering us, but we can't. And it's nice to think of the idea of having this kind of, just inner monster inside of us and just letting it go, and just for a brief time until changing back. Just kind of that the guilt and rage you're feeling is just all expelled through another person. So I really dig that. And again, like the Hulk embodies that kind of your inner id and what have you. So you can do that and have these moments of, and you can, again, it's kind of like Stan Lee, it was heavily inspired by, of course, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, as well as the Frankenstein monster. That's kind of the thing, is that the Hulk is... the Hulk never wants to hurt people. When he's out, he's usually just smashing shit, but he doesn't want to hurt anyone. He's just looked at as a monster by mankind, much like Boris Karloff's Frankenstein, is that he's just treated as a monster because no one wants to stop and get to know him. And I feel like at some point, feel like that, where we're all treated just for what we look like, and treated poorly because we look different or just act different as people. So, God knows, growing up in high school, that was kind of a big deal for me, so I can relate to that. The other thing, and this is a little more personal, is that I've always had these kind of just moments of rage here and there, but I keep it contained because, it's just so... It's, of course, it's not cool to rage out on somebody or rage out over the little things, but I've always had, this kind of just inner rage, inside of me that I have to, control and contain constantly. I have to hide this beast inside of me, because, if I lash out, I don't know, it's not so much, I know, if I lash out, it's, not only not look poorly, but there's also the fear I have is that if I let go, if I let that monster inside of me out for just a second, I'm never going to get the genie back in the bottle, and it's just going to be a mess. Not to say, I'd be violent and hurting people. I'm just saying, I just, be a... Let me be clear, because I don't think I was clear enough. I'm not saying I would go out on a fucking, Hulk smash, kill, hurt people kind of thing. I'm just saying I would just be just a perpetual asshole to everybody. Just this angry, just very, just perpetual, just angry at everything, angry at the world and what have you. So, I kind of don't want to do that, and I know it's not healthy to lock up your emotions. I'm fully aware of that, but, it's not like I can go out and talk, it's kind of hard for me to talk to people, so, anyway. I mean, yeah, this is kind of difficult for me to say, but you guys wanted to know why Hulk was my number one, and, you know, talking about it kind of explains it, so yeah. Anyway, so that was the big reason for, the major reason of why the Hulk is my favorite, is because he's just this big, you know, this big kind of power fantasy in a way, where you could just, you know, unleash all of that anger, all of that fury on people, and no one could get hurt. It's kind of like, again, what my whole thing with the Punisher, where I can dissociate myself from, you know, I can properly dissociate myself while reading a Hulk comic and watching Hulk just trash a city, while at the same time, you know, I can dissociate and not copy that, because I'm not a giant green rage monster, there's a good start, and B, you know, it's not cool. It's just simply not cool to do those kind of things. So again, it's very much like with why the Punisher is one of my favorites, because I can, you know, live out that kind of fantasy, and that's the thing, it's a fantasy. You know, I can dissociate myself from it and still enjoy it without it, you know, having any kind of influence on me. It's comics, people. I'm well aware that, yeah, it's comics. It's not going to have any effect on me. It's not going to have any, like, it's not going to have, like, a negative effect on me, and I shouldn't do this because these are imaginary people, and you shouldn't either. And if you think you should, then I would suggest counseling. I seriously suggest counseling if you do. Anyway, so, among other things, it's just, the Hulk also embodies just kind of the fun kaiju, like, he's like a miniature kaiju. He's just this big green rage monster that, you know, is kind of like, imagine Hulk if he was like fun-sized, and fun-sized in the sense that he'd be 10 feet tall and still able to wreck things. And let's be honest, seeing the Hulk smash shit is always satisfying. No matter, I don't care who you are, in some way, shape, or form, watching the Hulk tear through shit is just nothing short of just pure satisfaction and joy for people. It is very much just watching Hulk crush his way and smash his way through just the armies and what have you. And that's the other thing is that I also enjoy Bruce Banner. I really do enjoy Banner. That, you know, here's a guy who's this shrimpy little nerd who got picked on a lot and still, you know, kept going, even though he's got this rage monster inside of him now. And again, I can relate to that. I was a shrimpy little guy. I wasn't, you know, exactly a scientist or anything, but I still kind of kept going, even though, yeah, I've got my own monster inside of me, except mine doesn't mine doesn't take over and become giant and a green giant. But that's the thing, is that, you know, I can still relate to Bruce on that level. I can still relate to Bruce Banner in that level. So, yeah, that was kind of the big, you know, that was kind of a big reason right there of why I can relate to both Hulk and Bruce Banner. And because, like I said, through it all, Bruce keeps going. You know, Bruce, no matter what, just keeps on trucking through his time as the Hulk. And currently, I've been really loving what Al Ewing is doing in his Immortal Hulk run, where he's just been having Hulk, you know, fight in a war between essentially heaven and hell, and it makes sense. Like, that's the trippy part. Including supernatural stuff in the Hulk universe has always been like a thing, but it's never been like a major thing. But now that it is a thing, it's really cool, and how it ties in with Hulk and his, you know, Banner and his father is really cool. And again, I really do sympathize with both Hulk and Bruce, because yeah, my dad kind of looks down on me a lot. Like a lot. Let's be real. My dad kind of does look down at me quite a bit. So, I mean, he's not abusive. Let's be clear. But I just can't live up to, much like Bruce, I just can't live up to my dad's expectations. So, yeah, there's another reason as to why, you know, Hulk is, you know, the Hulk is my number one. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much the entire list of my top 10 favorite Marvel superheroes. As always, if you think a character should be higher or lower on the list, that's totally fine. You know, I'm always interested and excited to hear who you guys would put on the list. I'm always interested in that. You know, And I thought this would be an interesting format. I was admittedly a little worried about this format, but it seems like it's taken well, and I may do it again. Maybe for Marvel villains or maybe DC superheroes next time, but don't expect DC superheroes right after this. I'd like to take a little break because this was a little exhausting to be a TBH. This was just a tad exhausting. So, but yeah, I thought it'd be pretty fun to kind of do this and really go in depth as to why I really love these characters. And again, like I said, there may be a few years down the road, or maybe even a few months, I may do it again, and the list may change. But like I said, for Marvel, for the Marvel side, those 9 slots may change, but Hulk is going to remain my #1 no matter what. So, yeah. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what'd you guys think of the Hulk? Do you guys like him, hate him, and what'd you guys think of the list on a whole? And tell me your top 10 favorite Marvel superheroes. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.